Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am making a April manifesting reset video today. Why? Because I feel like over the past few weeks I've become disconnected from my power as a co-creator. I think that I'm starting to subscribe to ideas unconsciously that promote me as a bystander of my life versus a co-creator of my life. And when we subscribe to these programs, we start to feel feelings that promote helplessness, hopelessness, and just an overall sense of there's nothing I can do to change my situation, or there's nothing I can do to expand my situation. And I don't like being in this headspace. Being powerless is not good for the mind, and it's also not good for the body. So I'm going to do my part today to do a reset video with you guys, but also perform my actual reset rituals so that I can get my head in shape for April and do everything I can to ground myself for attracting the life that I desire, instead of falling into these thought patterns that suggest that I have to just sit by and watch what happens, because that's not true and it never was true. It's just a paradigm that comes with being an American. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is define my goals for the month. I like to break my goals down into different categories. And these categories include my spiritual goals, my financial goals, my personal goals, my work goals, and my physical goals. So you know, in March, I did a spending fast. And the really cool thing about a spending fast is it's like a mental reset. You get a really clear picture of what you need in life, and what you don't need, you just kind of gravitate towards for comfort and ego and all that fun stuff. So now that I'm going into April, I would like to use what I learned about myself during my spending fast to grow spiritually. And what I would like to do is I want to kind of go the next step. So if you did the spending fast with me, I think that this is a beautiful next step to evolve into. The next step spiritually, I believe, is learning how to see abundance in everything. When I did my spending fast, that's something that kind of happened naturally. I was slowly relearning the fact that I don't actually need a lot of the things that my brain tells me to want or to buy. And now I can shift into not just seeing that I'm content, but kind of ramping that up and going past contentment and seeing the truth of the abundance in our everyday experience, because there is truly abundance in everything. It's just our mindset that stops us from seeing abundance, or our mindset that encourages us to shift our gaze to what's actually scarce so we can convince ourselves that we're victims and all the fun things. So my spiritual goals are to recognize the abundance in everything and to meditate for a minimum of 20 minutes a day. For the past few months, I have been meditating with my yoga practice. So after I do yoga, I would sit and meditate. And I want to continue doing that, but I also want to add meditation to my morning as well. As far as my financial goals, I want to maintain my grocery budget and my dinner menu. A couple weeks ago, I started making a menu for my family so that, one, we can get really good at creating specific meals, and two, so that we can plan our groceries and know exactly what we need. So I just want to continue to perpetuate that and maintain that. Want to continue investing in my portfolio, and I want to get back to tithing on a weekly basis, because I always start with tithing on a weekly basis, and then it turns into 2 weeks, and then it turns into 3 weeks, every 3 weeks, and then after every 3 weeks, I just get kind of overwhelmed with like my income and my husband's income, and breaking that down. And we also go to 2 different churches, and it just becomes, I need to do it every week so that I can stay on top of it. So I want to stick to tithing on a weekly basis. Also, you guys can hear that I've been sick. I've been sick for like a millennia. I feel great, but it's actually allergies. Pray for me, pray for my body. Okay, personal. I want to go on 2 dinner dates this month, 2 dates with friends. I want to go on 2 play dates with mom, friends, and my babies. And I also want to continue to be responsive through text. Last month, my affirmation for the month was people love me. And we talk about this a lot in my personal coaching group, the difference between people love me and everyone loves me. And if you have abandonment issues, the affirmation people love me is very powerful, because I noticed that when I adopted this affirmation that people love me, I understood that I already had people in my life. And it was so deep on a subconscious level that I was able to recognize that prior to adopting this affirmation, I doubted the quality of love of the people that were already in my life. So by repeating this affirmation every day, I kind of dispersed, not kind of, I dispersed the doubt within my relationships so that I could show up fully and presently. And that translated into me kind of being a chatterbox with everybody in my life and showing up fully and authentically, instead of kind of like hiding myself and only giving people pieces of me because I think that's all they can handle. And that appeared through me being very responsive through text. You can ask anybody in my life this month, when someone texts me or when I text someone, it's like full-on conversations. It's not 1 or 2 sentence responses. It's all like, how is your day? How is your week? Can we talk more about that? Let's dig into that. Like, let's just really talk and have a full conversation and connect. I've been taking every opportunity for connection this month, and I really want to continue that because I'm learning that this is the type of person that I want to be. Work 2 videos a week. I want to do a photo shoot so that I can create an information booklet for different colleges that I want to bring yoga classes to, a specific college that I would like to start a dialogue with. And I would also like to start publishing a weekly newsletter so I don't have to bombard you guys with so much information in these videos. If you care about what I offer outside of YouTube, you can get an email and it'll show you everything instead of like feeling like you have to catch every video or else you're behind on things. Finally, my physical goals. I want to continue to increase my water intake. Shadi has been drinking her water like crazy. Can you tell? I really have. I feel like I'm glowing. I feel so good despite allergy stuff. I want to maintain my workout schedule. That is yoga one day, running the next, alternating between the 2. I want to maintain that for the month of April. And finally, based on these allergy things and the little icky flu sicknesses, cold, bacteria things that just seem to be floating around my house, I want to drink 1 green drink a day. I used to drink green juice every day. I don't know why I stopped. But I want to get back to doing that once a day. So those are my goals for the month of April. Breaking down your goals helps you understand how you want your month to feel. And that's what this video is going to be all about. Right now, we're still in a very abstract phase of understanding how we want everything to feel in our body so that we can get the reflection of that on the outside. I know we are all law of attraction pros here, but I have to remind you, in order to create the reality that you desire, you must know how that reality feels on the inside. It is not about outward appearances. It is not about material things. It is about the feeling and what the feeling inspires within you. So this is kind of the abstract part of that. Now what I'm going to do is hot mess. Now what I'm going to do is create a background on my computer that I can use to motivate me and inspire me to continue to recommit to my goals every time I get on my computer. This background will have probably a Bible verse, most likely an inspirational quote. Perhaps I'll add an affirmation. It's very likely that I'll go back in and change this affirmation once I know for sure what my April affirmation will be. And then a to-do list for all the things that are kind of administrative for Brown and Bindi. All of those to-do list things will be on that background so that I can also keep abreast of that over the month of April. Does anyone else's parents say abreast? My mom says that, and like I always cringe when she does it, so now I say it to be funny. Okay, so I just said that I want to stick to our menu and our grocery budget. So tonight we are making vegan tacos with like black beans and quinoa. It's really, really good. It's my third time making the recipe, and I decided, since I'm getting more comfortable with it, why not make it a little more complicated? So I'm gonna try to make some sourdough tortillas from scratch. Now, while I do this, I'm going to start to chew on my affirmation for the month. I know that I want my affirmation to revolve around abundance. And the way that I look at affirmations, I don't look at affirmations in a they're magical and they make magical things pop up in your life. I look at affirmations as a tool that when we say an affirmation in our mind, if we have resistance to the affirmation, that shows us where we can do work, and we can continue to say the affirmation to do said work. So I'm going to start to play with different affirmations in my mind while I make this tortilla dough, and I'm going to see, what I'm resisting, and use that along with everything else that I've just done to better understand the direction I want to move in April. So I prepped my food for tonight, and while prepping, I was mulling over the affirmation, I am abundance, the same one that I put on my desktop background. And I realized I do have quite a bit of resistance to that affirmation. So I'm going to hold on to that one while I continue to do this work. Now, the next step in my April monthly refresh, now that I have a good idea of the direction that I want to go, I'm gonna talk to God. I'm gonna talk to God about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the Bible. I am a believer that whatever part of the Bible I'm up to, because I'm reading it chronologically, I believe that it will apply to whatever I'm going through in my life. So I'm going to read the Bible. After I read the Bible, I'm going to review my prayer from this morning, because I write my prayers every morning in my journal. So I'm going to review what I read in the Bible with my prayers in my journal, kind of like cross-reference, see if there's any messages about abundance and abundance mindset in there. And then I'm going to ask God if there's anything I need to release, because a lot of my work with God and with Christ is unlearning who I used to be. And in order to unlearn, we have to release old patterns and old ways of thinking. And a lot of times we don't know. I don't mean to laugh, but it's like humans are ridiculous. A lot of times we just don't know what those patterns are. And we need to ask for higher guidance to bring our attention to those patterns and to those thought processes so that we can see it for ourselves and let it go. Because somebody, your mama, your kids, your friends can tell you that you have a bad habit over and over, but it doesn't really hit until you see it yourself. So for this portion, before I get to the manifesting, I'm going to talk to God to see if there's anything that I need to release before I move forward with truly setting my intentions for April. I love Bible study. My heart's just always so full after it. Because this is not specifically a Christian channel, I will not get too deep into the study that I just did, but I will tell you what I felt like my personal messages were for letting go, and I'll give you my verses that I read just in case you want to go and read what I read. So I read 2 Kings chapter 17 through 20, and I ended at verse 19 in chapter 20, and these are the messages that I received. So what I feel like I'm being inspired to let go is falling into the thought patterns of my ancestors, releasing generational fear-based thinking. So really understanding when I shift out of alignment and shift out of thinking that anything's possible and that there's unlimited potential in front of me, when I start to say, oh, nothing's that easy, and life can't be fun, and life can't be good, and I'm going to have to sacrifice XYZ, and like all the complicated thinking that comes up. I personally believe that all those types of thinking comes from our parents and our parents' parents and our parents' parents' parents. So releasing all of the complicated thoughts that come up that are a result of thoughts that have been in my bloodline for years. So releasing the thought patterns of my ancestors and resistance that God alone has the ability to rescue me from my enemies. That's a specific verse, rescuing me from my enemies. My enemies are anxiety and depression and racism. And I resist the idea that God can heal me of anxiety and depression, that God can show me a personality evolved past anxiety and depression. There are parts of my mind that say it's not possible. This is going to just be me forever. And I feel like I'm being given permission to release that for good, let it go. And finally, arrogance. This universe, the entire universe, every realm, every dimension, the heavens and earth. Heaven is another dimension. Every single one of these dimensions, every one of them was made by God. And I think sometimes as humans we can get arrogant and forget that. So I want to release that arrogance and lean into a little bit more humbleness in April. Yeah. You have put in the work. You sat and you thought about your goals for the next month. You talked to God and made sure that your inner state was in alignment with the divine. Now it is time to manifest. My favorite thing ever. We will be scripting. If you've scripted with me before, you know that I do have a specific formula. I used to do who, what, when, where, and why. And I took out the when, where as of late, and now I just do who, what, and why. So when we script, we are going to start by writing the who. Who are you? Who am I? I like to do this section by writing a paragraph of I am statements that encompass the person that I want to be. So writing from a place of I'm already this person. It's already happened. I'm already transformed. And what I think this does is by writing the statements as I am, we're claiming it, we're declaring it, and we're allowing ourselves to identify anything within ourselves that doesn't align with this person, this identity shift that we would like to take place. So after we do the who paragraph, we do the what paragraph, and that is a scenario. So I will write a scenario that encompasses the way I would like my reality to look. So for a lot of us, the scenario can be something as small as getting the process of getting the keys to our new house or our new car, or the process of going on a first date with someone that we really like. Not even the whole first date, maybe just the car ride to the restaurant or to the movies. I really like micro scenarios like what I just said. Instead of trying to write a whole day in the what section, I will write a piece of the day. I don't know what I'm gonna write yet, but I'll tell you when I'm done. And then the why is me talking about how I feel, because that is what's so important about scripting and about manifesting. I know we all have different ideas of why we think manifesting works, but I'm really stuck on the psychology thing. I think that when we understand how we want to feel, we can make more intentional choices to feel that way. So since we have identified who we are and what we are doing, we can use the why section to identify. We're identifying to ourselves why we want these things by saying, I feel XYZ. I feel this way because I've experienced these things. If you're a little confused, do not worry. I will read. I'm not going to read my whole scripting entry to you, but when I'm done, I'll read a couple sentences so you can have a better idea of what I'm talking about. I am abundance. I am free. I am joyful. I am easygoing. I am forgiving. I am at peace. I am social. I am humble. I am fun. I am successful. I am grounded. I am admirable. I am on top of things. I am patient. I am obedient to God. I am wise. I am chosen. I am in alignment. The bright blue sky is so open and wide. I could get lost in the endless blue for days. The sun feels so warm on my skin. I feel my daughter's head on my arm. It feels so good to be ahead of my responsibilities with enough time in the day to spend time with my family. I feel rich. Time is the true indicator of wealth. I feel so grateful for my organized business and the clarity Spirit has provided me with. I feel blessed knowing that I have the opportunity to flourish doing what I love. It just makes me feel so good. So the very last part of all of this work that we did is going to be looking over your scripting exercise and seeing if there are any affirmations within your scripting exercise that would serve you over the month of April. But there's something about that simple I am abundance. I think that is the one I want to commit to for the month of April. I didn't think that I would end this video with the same affirmation that I started it with, but sometimes when you know, you know. Thank you so much for spending today with me and planning your April with me. Make sure that if you have any questions or if you would like me to go more in depth on any of this process, make sure that you leave a comment down in the comment box down below so that I can answer it and give you more clarity. Guys, let's take a hold of this April. Let's get this April in a chokehold and really focus our energy on how we want to feel. You know, we're like, what, 4 months into the year? This is really the time when we start to get pulled in a bunch of different energetic directions, right? So let's refocus, recoup, ground ourselves, and like, let's get it. Let's get it. You can do it. I can do it. We can do it. Let's go. If you would like to know anything about my Patreon or about my mentorship group, all that information will be in the description box, and about my upcoming newsletter, which it's coming, I promise. I am abundant. I have an abundance of time. I have an abundance of time. Yeah, totally. You see, I have work to do here. All this to say, we all have work to do, don't we? Thank you so much for planning your April with me. This was fun, and I can't wait to do it again next month. Make sure that you're subscribed if you want to see more videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.